Welcome to Sacred Lotus Yoga. This week we're on holiday in the beautiful sunny County Wexford. And for today's practice, we're flowing through Surya Namaskar B, one of the two Sun Salutations. If you would like to check out Surya Namaskar A, please follow the link in the description below. We'll begin today's class standing up towards the top of our mat. Coming up into Tadasana, we'll sweep our arms up and overhead, and exhale, draw your hands down through heart center, coming into our mountain pose. Palms facing forward, shoulders down away from the ears, and take a moment to arrive into your class. We'll bring our big toes to touch, heels can come apart. We'll sweep our arms up and overhead, sitting our hips back into chair pose, into Utkatasana. Heart space is opening forward, finding lots of energy through the body. Deep inhale, and exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. You can begin to bend and straighten opposite knee, bringing some movement into the legs. Allow the head to be heavy, and take a moment of stillness in Uttanasana. On an inhale, we'll plant our hands on our shins, hinge forward from the hips, into Ardha Uttanasana, into halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Inhale, and on an exhale we'll fold forward once again. We'll plant our hands either side of our feet, bend your knees as much as you need to. We're going to step back into plank, stepping our right foot, then our left foot down into plank, shoulders in line over our wrists, pressing through our heels. Drop your knees down onto the mat, loop your shoulder blades back and gently lower chin and chest. Sweep the body forward, open up into Cobra, lifting your shoulders and your chin away from the mat. And exhale, gently lower down onto the mat. Going to come up through tabletop, lift the knees away from the mat, coming up into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide, shoulders away from the ears. You can bend and straighten opposite knee. Once again, waking up through the body. Just doing what feels right for you today. And when you're ready, find stillness in your down dog. As you lengthen through the spine, hips come high. We'll make our way into our three-legged dog, extending our right leg high up towards the sky. We'll draw our right knee in towards our chest. Hover forward, lock forward, shoulders in line over the wrists. And then step the right foot in between the hands. We'll plant the left foot down onto the mat and sweep the arms up and overhead, coming up into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Begin to plant the hands, framing the front foot, pivot on the back foot, coming back into plank, and then lowering down to Chaturanga. Coming down, chin and chest, sweep the body forward into Cobra. And then we'll lower the forehead down onto the mat. Coming back through to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. And then we'll take it to the next side. Sweep the left leg up and overhead. Stepping the left foot in between the hands. Plant the right foot. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Warrior 1. Nice strong legs. Hips squared towards the front of the room. And then we'll pivot back around, plant the hands, frame the foot. Drop down onto the knees, loop the shoulders, Chaturanga, opening up through to Cobra or upward facing dog. Lifting the hips away from the mat, and then we'll press ourselves back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. You can bend and straighten opposite knee, once again waking up through the body, just doing what feels right for you today. Looking up towards the top of the mat, we're going to hop or step or walk our feet up into forward fold. Coming up into halfway lift, plant your hands on your shins, hinge forward from the hips. And exhale, forward fold. Bending into the knees as much as you need. Sweep the arms up and overhead, coming back into our chair pose, back into Utkatasana. And on an exhale, coming up to standing, back in our mountain pose. Well done. That's our first round. Take a few breaths. Notice how you feel. Check in. Bring your big toes to touch and come down into our chair pose once again. Sweep your arms up and overhead, sitting back into the imaginary chair, into Utkatasana. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on your shins, roll your shoulder blades back. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to plant both hands down onto the mat. And we'll step back into our plank pose. Shoulders over the wrists. Drop down onto the knees, loop the shoulder blades back. Gently lower chin and chest. Sweep forward into cobra or upward facing dog. And then on an exhale, we'll make our way back into our downward facing dog. Walk through your dog, bending and straightening opposite leg. Remember to breathe. Find a nice steady breath. Sweep your right leg up towards the sky, draw the knee in towards the chest, hover forward, step the right foot in between the hands, plant the left foot down onto the mat, hips squared forward, look forward, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, warrior one. Nice strong body, keeping the knee in line over the ankle. We'll hinge forward, plant the hands, frame the front foot, pivot on the back, stepping back into plank. Drop the knees, loop the shoulders. Lower down onto your chin and chest, coming up into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Take a breath. And we'll sweep the left leg up, drawing it into the chest, hover forward, look forward, step the left foot in between the hands, plant the sole of the right foot, keeping the left knee bent, sweep the arms up and overhead. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, plant the hands, frame the foot. We'll step our left foot to meet the right, coming back into plank. Drop the knees, loop the shoulders, gently lower chin and chest, and coming up into upward facing dog or cobra. And stepping back into downward facing dog. Lock between the hands, bend into the knees, step, hop or walk. Make your way up to the top of the mat, coming back into a forward fold. Drop the head. Inhale, halfway lift, hands in the shins, hinge forward from the hips. Exhale, forward fold. Bending into the knees. Begin to sweep the arms up and overhead, coming back into Utkatasana, back into our chair pose. Nice strong body, core engaged, glutes engaged, shoulders away from the ears. Such a strong pose. And exhale, come back up to standing, back into our mountain pose. Take a breath, realign, check back in. Bring your big toes to touch. Coming into our last round, sweep the arms up in line with the ears, send the hips back, coming down into chair pose. Utkatasana. Inhale, and on an exhale, we'll forward fold. Should be feeling a little bit more warmed up now, a little bit more ready to take on our last round. Inhale, plant the hands on the shins, halfway lift, loop the shoulder blades back, long spine. Exhale, folding forward. Bending into your knees as much as you need to plant the hands on the mat. And from here, we'll step back into plank. Shoulders over wrists. One long line of energy through the body. Drop down onto the knees. Loop your shoulder blades away from the ears. Gently lower chin and chest. Inhale, sweeping up into cobra or upward facing dog. And gently lower the head back down onto the mat. Press through the hands, coming up through tabletop, coming back into downward facing dog. Walk through your dog, finding some movement through the body. Just doing what feels right for you today. Take a few breaths. Notice how you feel. Check in. And when you're ready, we're going to sweep our right leg up towards the sky. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. Hover forward. Step your right foot in between the hands. Keeping the knee bent, plant the left foot. We're going to sweep our arms up and overhead. Warrior one. Nice strong warriors. Stay with your breath. Noticing the energy through the body. Noticing what you notice. Exhale. Hinge forward on the hips. Plant the hands. Step the right leg to meet the left. Back through to your plank. Drop down onto the knees. Loop your shoulders. Gently lower chin and chest. Peeling up into cobra or upward facing dog. Open your chest forward. Open your heart space forward. Exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. And coming into our last side, sweep your left leg up high towards the sky. Draw the knee into your chest, hover forward, step the left leg in between the hands, plant the right foot down. Look forward, keep the left knee bent as we begin to sweep our arms up and overhead, hips squared forward. Stay with your breath, fully engaged body. Remember to smile. Hinge forward at the hips, plant the hands, frame the front foot. We'll step our left leg to meet the right. Coming back into our plank, down through chaturanga. Option to lower fully down through a plank or dropping the knees, coming up into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back into our downward facing dog. Looking up towards the top of the mat, we can step or walk or hop, making our way back up into a forward fold. Allow the body to be heavy here. Inhale, coming up into a halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine. And exhale, folding forward. Bending into the hips, bending into the knees, sweep the arms up and overhead, sink the hips back, Last Utkatasana, last chair pose. Give it your all. And exhale, come up to standing, back into our mountain pose. Well done. I hope you enjoyed Surya Namaskar B. Please remember to let me know if you enjoyed the class by commenting down below. Namaste.